The psychology of ignoring women. A secret when it comes to a lady you are interested in. How much attention should you give her? Does it make her forget about you, or does it make her want you more? In this video, we'll be discussing how to make sure you're doing it correctly and the hidden psychology of ignoring a woman. Hello, I'm Bobby Rio, and I frequently receive inquiries from clients. In fact, I was recently worked with a client who expressed fear that if he wasn't calling the woman he was speaking to, hoping she would forget about him, I had questioned him about why he felt the need to text her and invite her to hang out constantly. And his attitude was, well, if I don't get in touch with her, she won't remember. Concerning myself, and I've come to the realization that many men share this anxiety, and it not just drive them to sabotage a woman's attraction, as was the case with my client, but it additionally stops them from exploiting some really potent psychology that makes when you are pursued by a lady, she becomes much more interested in you. I will thus be discussing the psychology of neglecting a lady for that reason. And one of the questions I often pose to clients who are feeling anxious is, well, if I don't answer her text as soon as possible, or if I decide to call off our plans for one evening, wouldn't it make her say, screw this guy, forget about him, and a very nice thing, and make her want me less? I constantly ask my clients the same straightforward question, and they all agree. When a woman, do you want her more or less so that when you text a woman, everything goes smoothly? When you text a woman and don't hear back from her until the next day, you're in the do you ignore her, or do you just look at your phone as you wait for her to text you back? Anticipating that text when you're all fired up to meet a woman and she cancels at the last minute breaks plans. You may be irritated, but do you really want her right then and there? It's a really counterintuitive perspective, but in reality, it's simply the psychology of attraction. Is that human nature dictates that when something is unclear or marginally unavailable, we want. Now, I'll outline 5 reasons why this works and how to ensure that you're doing. It's true, but I would like to briefly discuss what I mean when I say that neglecting a lady indicates a number of things, such as the instances I provided where you frequently text her, return immediately soon, do you make a point? Many of the guys I work with tell me, well, I ignore her because I text her good night every night and check in with her when I get up. When a lady sends you one of those texts, it could be because she is just not sending them. You don't think you realize you don't have this time, therefore you don't feel the need to react right away. Many men experience sensitive strain when a lady texts them and we are unable to reply appropriately. Many men become quite anxious and think, oh my God, if I don't get back to her, she'll assume I don't like her and go look for another guy right away. By ignoring a lady, I mean that she is not feeling under any obligation to reply to her constantly, time immediately, but it also indicates other things, such as that it might be a woman from your social circle that you're considering, perhaps a female friend that you're considering. Does she work with you? And when you see her in person, do you always run to greet her? You know that there's something called attention, so do you always go over to her? When you see her, how much of your intention money are you sending her? The mentality of disregarding a female. Does she get all of it? For example, if your female buddy is at a party and you are, does she get 90% your focus? Or are you content to ignore her at that gathering for a time when you arrive at work? Can you just go to work without saying hello to that adorable coworker? Or does she have all of your attention? What we're talking about is her, and you just kind of do your own thing. The definition of ignoring a woman is withholding your attention, which is what we mean that, as you are aware, ignoring it is how we would like to see it. Therefore, I want to go over this and discuss 5 various facets of it. Am I correct? Checking in will be the first topic we discuss because it's a significant one. This is what essentially inspired me, because throughout the entire film, I repeatedly show clients who become extremely anxious when I urge them not to. When you text a woman to check in, you're saying, have to check in, correct? You're essentially telling me that I'm still here and that I don't want you to forget about me. Other than your neediness, there's no actual reason for you to send the text. The issue with her reassurance is that women are very adept at spotting this. Therefore, when you're checking in with her, you're doing it to get her to reassure you. On the contrary, some men will remark, well, as she seems to sense it, and it comes out as needy. I received a text from her in the morning, so should I reply straight away? Isn't it polite? Is that the appropriate thing to do? The issue with constantly reacting right away is that it's human nature to do well when you discuss the psychology of disregarding a lady, because by nature, people appreciate things that are less accessible. And as an illustration, I once asked a customer to picture their favorite celebrity, and you emailed them. Would you anticipate a response? And you are aware of the response. Is typically no. And since their attention is so expensive, I wouldn't expect them to, I don't know you that well yet. But if they did reply, you'd be like, gosh, that guy is great. The fact that the celebrity is cool. But what if you emailed them back and then they responded to your letter, and now that you're speaking with them, you say, whoa, as if you're not as cool as I thought you were, even though you have endless time to text me. Because of the enormous demand, a woman feels that right on a very subconscious level. Man, she thinks that he doesn't have time to text because he has a lot going on. The thing that men fail to grasp is that she will test you every single moment of the day. She was texting me a lot, so I'm just sort of keeping up with her. They'll say, and it seems like she's doing that to see whether she truly receives all of this guy's attention and to see how much of it I can acquire. She quickly loses interest in it, and eventually, as with the customer I worked with, she will start to distance herself since she doesn't appreciate your attention as much. Now, the second part of the one of the most significant factors that women associate with longing is likely the psychology of ignoring a woman. With affection, women confuse longing with love, so let me reiterate that. What I mean by that is, when a woman desires something, she may have the desire for a man to text her. Terrible sensation of missing you and staying up at night hoping to hear from you. If you look at romance books, you'll see that's how she envisions love to feel. Show aimed toward women, correct? If you look at Six in the City back in the day, the psychology of disregarding a woman, desire, mental difficulty, and warm and cold conduct. You are aware that throughout that series, the protagonist Carrie finally weds Mr. Big. It was longing, and she associates that with the fact that she never had his entire attention. With love, and women frequently confuse desire with love. And the issue is that nice guys possess is that a woman has nothing when you offer her your whole attention and never ignore her. She doesn't get to enjoy the anticipation of his next text message because she longs for it. You text her back immediately, so she doesn't have to worry about when I'm going. To see him once more, since you consistently make yourself available to her when you arrive at work. She doesn't have the experience of wondering if he will stop by my desk and greet me today. You're denying her desires since you constantly approach her desk to say hello, which is why I frequently claim that decent males will say things like, I just want to be myself, and you know, screw her. Like the lovely person believes he's being himself. You believe you're saying something admirable, yet you're denying her her true desires? Then is it really a good thing? No, you're being self-centered. You're denying her the feeling of want, which is the reason ignoring a woman has a profound psychological effect, because it makes her crave your attention. A mental challenge is the third, component of the psychology of ignoring a lady. In the same way that women yearn for love, they also want a man who challenges their thinking. What I mean by mental challenge is that it indicates that you're not so simple to figure out. How much does he like me? And is he seeing other people? Does he like me or does he not? The challenge is figuring out where I stand with this guy and whether I can capture his whole attention. For a woman, we often come from the same attitude as guys. You know? It's like, since a woman eventually realizes that every male will essentially sleep, may I sleep with her? With her. So that's where she kind of starts saying, I'm not gonna sleep with this guy anytime soon. Therefore, if it's the other way around, I'm going to make him wait patiently for a male. Keep her somewhat perplexed and force her to put forth a little more effort for my attention, which she enjoys. Says she enjoys returning home and examining your behavior with her friends since it presents a cerebral challenge. It's a girl talk thing, so why didn't he call? Do you think he likes me? They are with her buddies, so if you take that away from her, she loses interest. And she responds that, while things are going well, they lack the additional challenge of figuring you out. She frequently says this since she feels like she's missing something. I don't sense the spark, and it's because there isn't any cerebral challenge there. The psychology of neglecting a woman then includes what is likely one of the most I am aware of how strong this is, and it is referred to as hot and cold behavior. Since it not only works on me, but I've also pursued girls with this kind of attractive and chilly conduct. But I've also had coaching men for more than 13 years, and I can see that there is something essentially addictive about chasing a female who is acting both hot and cool. Regarding hot and cold behavior, many people claim that they detest it when women act in this way, and women themselves agree when men act in this way. But generally speaking, we all seek out hot and cold conduct. And theirs is a scientific explanation for that. And a psychologist named B.F. Skinner found it as well as the psychology of erratic rewards. So, if you examine gambling, the reason it's the reason it's so addictive is that I'm constantly wondering if I'm gonna win or lose today. The compulsive character of hot and cold dating behavior. At the precise moment that the roulette wheel is rolling while you are waiting, you can either win or lose when the ball drops after you've been waiting, and waiting. Endorphin rush has a similar meaning to how it becomes addictive in dating games. Let's assume that you are aware that you are seeing a woman, and occasionally when you call her, she's really delighted to see you, and then you see her, and you know, on some days she is occupied and aloof, while on other days she has her hands all over you, because you never know which one you're going to receive when you visit her, which makes you craving the hotness now. I mentioned that you must do this correctly when I mentioned the psychology of women neglecting a woman is similar to someone who ignores women constantly being chilly. She'll lose interest, believing that you're not interested. Perhaps she'll believe that you're gay. She might assume that you've met someone else. If all you do is ignore her, she will soon lose interest. Conversely, if all you do is, she will lose interest if you give her your whole attention. So it's a balancing act. You constantly want to know if I'm going too far in one direction, and if you discover that you've been paying far too much attention to her, take a moment to focus on her again. Her hot and cold behavior is so addictive that I'm not sure if you truly believe it. She longs for more of it. Regarding it, you'll most likely comprehend it since it's most likely happened to you. Everywhere a woman is present, she may be a lady at work, and occasionally she visits, and, on some days, she is friendly and flirtatious, and on other days, she just goes about her business as usual. That woman is alluring to us because, to begin with, she is mentally challenging, and you don't even exist. Yes, and we guys enjoy that mental challenge as well, but ladies enjoy it even more. Therefore, neglecting a woman while being hot and cold actually helps you look more appealing. Yet, the last psychological aspect of disregarding a woman, and this is something I often suggest that one of the most appealing things is to try to stress with clients correctly. Characteristics of a man include autonomy, independence, self government, and being handled by a woman. And to men who lack autonomy, this all seems like games. When I tell a guy, hey, sometimes you have to ignore a woman, what do I mean? Sometimes they say things like, I don't want to play games, so you have to wait to respond. And the explanation for their claim that I don't want to play games is they perform all of these actions instinctively, and the reason for this is they lack autonomy since they are establishing a bond with a particular lady above all else in their lives. But when you come across a man who is truly focused on many other aspects of his life, such as his work, which he may be quite passionate about, and then he naturally engages in all of these activities because he is very interested in being fit and has many friends. This man is really appealing since he naturally ignores women. Therefore, it's not necessary a game as it is, where the more stuff you have going on, the more independent you automatically become. Your life and the more your willingness to prioritize such things. So let's look at an example. Imagine, for example, that you're spending time with this woman and that you've been conversing with her, and she is ecstatic and asks if she may come because she is leaving work early on Tuesday. Your first reaction is to exclaim, "Oh my God, I like this. Can I come over and see you?" The benefits of setting your interests. First, when dating, I'd like to see the woman as well, but what if you have a run schedule for that day? You're preparing for a run and would like to know if you're preparing for a marathon or just you simply want to maintain your fitness. And on Tuesday at 5 o'clock, you had scheduled a visit to the self-sufficient man, tells the woman, hey, listen, I'd love to see you run 5 miles in this park. You? But I have to depart since I have a run scheduled for that day, either later in the evening or even that kind man who is scared of losing this woman who is worried that she's going to die, can do it another time. Going to put him out of his mind, he will postpone that run to spend time with her, and he will justify it. I can go for the run at any time, but the truth is that I truly want to spend time with her. It originates from a fearful area where she says that if I don't see her, she will remember me. She won't like me if I tell her no. But the truth is that when you speak to she's gonna go because I have a run scheduled for Tuesday and I don't want to miss it. He picked his run over me, which actually increases your value to her, since it demonstrates to her that you're not immediately making her the focus of your attention, since you know you have your own life. Now, I'm not arguing that you can never, ever prioritize a woman over everything else in your life. Indeed, there will be days when you can skip your run, but the general rule is to not do so. The run doesn't always happen if your pal says, I really want to go out tonight, and you have a night out planned. You go out with your pals, correct? Most men tend to swing too much in the other direction, where they are prepared to break off their friends' interests and pastimes in order to get a woman's attention occasionally. So you must be careful that you're doing this correctly. And this is one of the main reasons you can click the link below to watch my Scrambler video. I discuss how it's actually a step-by-step process, since in the end, a lady wishes to give you the impression that she is gradually winning you over by pitching more and more of your focus, since you're gradually realizing how unique she is and how much you enjoy her. But you must be able to entice her in some way, rather than doing it all at once, since she will easily forget about you if she perceives that I have all of this guy's attention. However, she would value being able to earn it more and more if she believes that she is with you, and she will be the one pursuing you. Therefore, as I mentioned, I provide a range of methods on just how to accomplish this, and more significantly, I impart the main idea of you can click the link to see how she's gradually trying to win you over rather than the other way around. I demonstrate my scrambler technique in the video below. If you enjoy it, please hit the like button. Please subscribe, comment, and let me know what you would like to see in my upcoming video. You